Kia ora. We're flying into Rarotonga for a 5-day holiday, and I have a huge amount of underwater footage to share with you. For those new to this channel, welcome. This is mainly a fishing channel, full of trips and lure fishing tutorials. But for this video, we'll be exploring the underwater world of Rarotonga. And for the usual subscribers, I did book a game fishing trip for Rarotonga, but unfortunately, the weather didn't play ball and we had to cancel it. But you'll get to see some amazing sea life up close throughout this video. The first activity of our trip, we went swimming with turtles at the Avaavaroa passage. The whole island of Rarotonga is surrounded by reef, and these reef passages allow sea animals to come in and out of that reef. It's important to point out that these passages have very strong current, so please don't swim near them without a guide. There's about 4 different tour companies in this area, and we picked Moana sea scooters because they had sea scooters for us to use. They had a photographer come out and take videos and photos, and also it was a private tour through the passage. If you're planning on doing a lot of snorkeling, I do recommend bringing your own snorkel, mask and fins. The resorts here do have them, but they could run out or they might not be a perfect fit for you. I also recommend wearing a long sleeve rash shirt or a long sleeve wetsuit top for sun protection, because you'll be spending a lot of time floating at the top of the water. Looks like it's low tide at the moment and people are coming back from their turtle snorkeling tour. So we're getting the gear ready to head out on our tour, and I'm putting the Insta 360 camera onto the sea scooter. For an enjoyable snorkeling experience, you need to make sure that your mask doesn't fog up. The locals have a plant that they teach us to crush up and then rub over the mask, and that helps prevent the fogging. You can see here I'm being very thorough with this, and then once it's done, you throw the plants away and then give the mask a rinse and it's ready. For our group of 4, we had 3 guides take us out on the tour into the passage. For my friend Glenn, it was his first time snorkeling and first time in open water, so he had 1 guide allocated just to look after him throughout the whole tour. All Glenn had to do was hold on to the yellow floaty and just look down and enjoy the view. As I said earlier, one of the reasons we booked with this group is because of the sea scooters. And what the sea scooters allow you to do is basically just press down the button and the motor will drive you along without you needing to paddle as much. The sea scooters also float, so they act as an extra safety device in the water. We're given a bit of time just to have a bit of a practice in the shallow water here. We've got to make sure that we don't suck up sand into the sea scooter, so we need to go out a bit deeper. But what you can see in the video is Alex and I just having a practice around while everyone else gets set up. There's 2 thumb buttons on the sea scooters, and either one of them will start the propeller. The trick to using them is just hold it underneath your chest. I'm seen holding it out in front of me quite a bit because I want to make sure that the 360 camera captures some footage. It's about 2 meters deep here, and we're coming up onto the first coral, and as a fisherman I really enjoy seeing sea life up close like this. On my left here is Alex, and he's using the same type of sea scooter as me. This one actually floats. And then further away you can see Brett, and Brett's an experienced diver, so they've given him a smaller sea scooter. This one doesn't float, and it has a bit more power to allow the experienced divers to dive down a bit deeper. Throughout this tour you can see me checking up on Glenn quite often. Since it's his first time snorkeling, I can imagine it can be a pretty scary experience. The team at Moana Sea Scooters were absolutely awesome, and this guy here you can see in the video just looked after Glenn the whole time, and Glenn had a really good experience. Here's our main guide on the right in the camo wetsuit. He's using a GoPro Hero 12, and he's puts a lot of effort into capturing underwater footage and photos, and then you get all of these photos and videos at the end of the trip. So we're coming up to our first turtle, and it's just relaxing on the side of the reef here. Each person is given a chance to swim near the turtle, not getting too close, and our guide will be taking photos and videos of you swimming near the turtle. Brett's going first here. He's got the most diving experience out of all of us, and you can see he swims pretty close to the turtle. The turtles generally come up for air every 20 minutes, so for those of us that can't dive down next to them, we just have to wait till we find the turtle that's coming up for air. So we continue moving. Part of this tour is getting near to the end of the passage so that we get to see a lot of different sea life. We're coming past the group now, and you can see a lot of the groups don't have the sea scooters, so they pretty much have to swim their whole way through the passage. And here we catch up with Glenn again, and we're in about 10 to 15 meters of water now. So it's probably quite a new experience for Glenn to look down and see the bottom so far away. This part, just having a look at how our guide effortlessly just swims to the bottom of the passage. Looks about 5 to 10 meters here. I imagine he's seen something cool there and he's just gone down to take some photos or videos for us. We're coming up to the first turtle that's swum up to the surface to breathe. And here everyone's going to get the opportunity to swim next to a turtle and get some photos and videos taken. There's a huge amount of respect for the sea life, and we're told to not get within 1 meter of the turtles or even touch it. So the guide uses hand signals to tell us when to come a bit closer and when to stop. We continue to head out deeper into the passage. Here's a school of piper, and I think they're really cool. It's my first time seeing them underwater, and I used to catch them as a kid back in New Zealand. And then as I cruise a bit further, I see this pretty big school of I think a yellow coloured fish just on the edge of the reef. Looks quite a few of them there, probably close to 100 if I was to guess. The sea scooter has 3 speeds on it, so how to change speed is you hold down on one button and then you press the other button, and you can do this 2 times to go to the 3rd higher speed. Yeah, you can have a lot of fun with these sea scooters. Just stay close to your guide and stay close to your group. You just want to make sure you don't go too far ahead because you don't want to go out of the passage where it can be quite dangerous. We're coming up to the deepest part of the passage and coming up to something that's really cool. You can't really see it too clearly yet because they're quite close to the bottom, but basically there's a massive school of spotted eagle rays just down from us. Looks to be about 25 meters deep. Brett here is using his smaller sea scooter to go in for a bit of a closer look, but on this trip he had trouble equalizing his ears, so couldn't really dive deeper than 3 meters. We spend a little bit more time here just floating over the top watching the eagle rays, but it didn't look like this school was going to swim up or swim any closer, so we make a move and just go a bit further out from the passage. That's Glenn in the background again. He's just getting dragged along for the ride. Further along the passage we come across another big school of eagle rays, and you can see these ones are swimming a lot closer to the surface now, so we're getting very good views of these eagle rays. We're told that these eagle rays aren't always here, so we're very lucky to see them as part of our turtle swimming tour. So what we'll do now is just watch some of the footage from our guide and cameraman. where he dives down with the GoPro and takes a closer video of the eagle ray schools. After that amazing swim with the spotted eagle rays, we headed back towards the start of the tour, and on the way back we passed one of the biggest turtles I've ever seen. And then back to where we started, and yeah, still some turtles swimming around here, so we take a few more photos and videos. Some of the key things to remember when you're this close to the reef is that some of the coral can be quite sharp and it can irritate you if you touch it, so make sure you follow the guide. He'll take you through the safest path to get back past the reef and back onto sand. So the guide tells us all to pull up over around this area, and yeah, we're going to stop and have a group photo. You can see throughout the tour that we're extremely well looked after by the boys of Moana Sea Scooters, including my friend Glenn, first time snorkeling, and everyone's very happy to have done this tour. At the end of the tour, they bring the little pontoon boat back along with a ladder, and one by one we pass them the sea scooter, take off our fins, and then hop onto the pontoon boat for the ride back towards the beach. Swimming with the turtles and with the spotted eagle rays was one of the most amazing experiences. So you can see everyone on the boat just smiles all around. Yeah, very thankful to the team of Moana Sea Scooters for taking us on this awesome experience in Rarotonga. The boat takes us all the way back to ankle deep water, and then it's just a short walk back to the hut, and we help each other by carrying our fins and the mask and the snorkels back up to the little hut that we started at. Back at the hut, there's washdown facilities where you put all your used fins and mask and snorkel, and there's also a shower up there on the tree, so for you to wash off all the salt water, get yourself clean. And then the team prepare a plate of fruit and also give you some coconut water to drink while you relax as they tidy up. On day 4 of our trip, we booked a day tour to Aitutaki, which is an island north of Rarotonga. So you go back to the Rarotongan airport, jump on a domestic flight, and it's about a 40-minute flight north to fly into Aitutaki airport. When we landed, we did a small tour of the island, visiting a few places, cafes, shops, and then went to the boat ramp here to jump on our boat. It's a big catamaran, and the boat takes us out of this little area, still within the lagoon, and we head south all the way down to a bunch of islands at the bottom of Aitutaki. That little island there on the right is called One Foot Island, and we spend a good amount of time there during our Aitutaki trip. Here's our group here, back at the Rarotongan airport, boarding Air Rarotonga. Just got off the plane and we're going into the Aitutaki airport. We did a quick tour of the island, and then now we're about to go board our boat. This is our tour guide Ali, and he looked after us for the whole day. I think that boat there was the previous tour boat. We're boarding a bigger one, and that little boat over there is our support boat for the day. Here's our boat here, and it's going to take us around exploring the islands, and yeah, everyone gets assigned to a table, and you meet some new friends on this trip because the tables fit about 8 people. Kirana. There was quite strong winds for our ride to the smaller islands. So yeah, not a lot of people sitting outside. I went out with my Insta 360 to take a few videos just to give you a wide angle look of the boat and of the surrounding area that's around us. Most people chose to stay inside to stay protected from the wind. As part of our tour, we stopped off at 2 small islands first and gave people a bit of a chance to have a walk around or go for a swim if they want to. Where are you going, Alex? There was also a demonstration of how to husk coconuts. The support boat basically follows us around for the whole day, and it ferries people between the big boat and to the islands throughout the day. The big boat just stays anchored out in deeper water. This boat has full cooking facilities, so the crew here are cooking up a massive lunch for us, and after we have lunch we move to the reef at Aitutaki, and that's when we go down and do a bit of snorkeling. This might be hard to see because it was hard to hold the camera still, but you'll see lots of little fish within that coral formation there. And on the other side of the coral you see some colourful tropical fish swimming around. And then we spotted this giant clam out in the open, so you can see in this video Brett has just dived down and he's just swimming around the clam. And shouldn't need to say this, but don't stick your hands or feet or anything into the clam. We also got to see another turtle swimming around, so only one on this trip out at Aitutaki, but still very cool to see it out in the wild. Brett spotted a huge stonefish here in the sand. So these fish just sit on the bottom and they've got very venomous spines on them, so one of the most dangerous fish in the sea. If you end up stepping on its spine, it's highly venomous. And here's a giant trevally, and we were told that there'll be some of this species around, and for me this would have been the highlight of the snorkeling at Aitutaki. is to see a giant trevally up close. The fish here are probably very used to seeing tourists, so they're quite inquisitive, and they'll just keep swimming around us over the next few minutes. During this part, I didn't even know it was swimming around me and was gonna come up next to me. Only noticed it after reviewing the footage on the camera. For our last stop, we're going to a place called 1 Foot Island, and here you can actually get your passport stamped with a 1 Foot Island stamp. About 20 meters in front of where our boat was anchored, there's another giant clam, so quite easy to swim to if you're going for a swim at 1 Foot Island. And then I thought it would be fun to swim through underneath the boat, and there was actually a lot of fish hiding underneath the boat. And like everyone else, I made sure to get my passport stamped with the 1 Foot Island stamp. And our tour guide Ali here, he's going to talk through what is the reasoning behind this stamp. The background noise was very loud, so I will add subtitles here. Can you explain the stamp for me again?
Okay. So this is the 1 Foot Island stamp right here. So it's the same thing when you go to Machu Picchu, when you climb up the actual stamp. It's the same. So I know you guys want to take back this beautiful blue lagoon, the island, but you can't. But you can take a piece of what we have here today by getting your passport stamp on 1 Foot Island. Take it back home with you.
Thank you.
With your friends and family, wherever you've been.
Thank you. I highly recommend visiting Aitutaki as part of your trip to Rarotonga. We were on board the Vaka cruise with our guide Ali, and it was absolutely amazing. Got to see some amazing islands. It's great snorkeling, and you do that by booking on the website, and you fly Air Rarotonga to get to Aitutaki and back from Rarotonga. And now for the last part of this video is to show you just local snorkeling outside your resort. So we stayed at the Edgewater resort, which is on the western coast of Rarotonga. And what you can do is go snorkeling on the reef just out from the resort. The resort has snorkels, masks and fins that you can borrow, and also you can grab some towels, but as I said before, I highly recommend you bring your own snorkeling gear. We also visited the Rarotongan resort as part of our trip and did some snorkeling just out from the Rarotongan resort. This is the view from the Edgewater resort, the main dining area, and where those waves are crashing, that's basically over the reef that protects this little lagoon area that you can go snorkeling in. So right now what you see, it's basically high tide. It's pretty big waves out there, but if you stay well away from those waves and just snorkel close to the beach side, and you should be safe. Sometimes when the tide is very high, you can actually see a lot of fish swimming just down by the beach from the top of the resort. For our first snorkel outside the Edgewater, we were told that both the tide and the wind was blowing south. So the trick here is actually to walk north of the resort, and then that way the wind and tide can slowly drift you back south over the reef. You'll also see here that it's low tide at the moment, and low tide is actually not a good time to go snorkeling. So we learnt that during this trip, because in a lot of places there wasn't actually enough water to snorkel through. Still, we gave it a go, so yeah, I'll show you some video of some of the sea life that we see just out from the Edgewater resort. So with Brett being a diver, he was very good at spotting interesting species of fish as we were snorkeling around. And this one here is the banded pipefish. So we spotted 3 banded pipefish, and I did my best to hold the camera still as we were watching these swim around. But the banded pipefish, from what Brett told me, they're actually part of the seahorse family. Here's some amazing camouflage here. When you've managed to spot it, this is a flounder or a sole, and the back of it blends in with the sand. It's really only when it starts swimming, moving, or swimming over the rocks that you can really spot it. So I followed this one around for a little bit because it was pretty cool to see a flounder swimming around in the reef. Next we go snorkeling outside the Rarotonga resort, and here's a bit of a look at the beach. One small tip I have to give is at each resort there's a place where you can get snorkel fins and masks, and also life jackets, and what they'll have there is information on the tide. And if you are snorkeling out from the resorts, I really recommend doing it at high tide. You'll get a lot more water to snorkel through, and there'll be a lot more sea life to see as well. And one of the first interesting fish that we spotted out from the Rarotonga resort is this little helmet gurnard here. Helmet gurnard, just like any normal gurnard, they walk along the bottom as they look for food to eat, like crabs and small fish. This one's doing swimming because we've been following it around and it's trying to get away from us. And if you swim out far enough, about halfway between the beach to the reef, you can actually come across some fairly big schools of fish. So both Brett, myself and Alex, we swam about halfway out, and it was amazing to see these big schools of fish. So here's the rest of the footage showing that out from the Rarotonga resort. If you've got this far into the video, thank you very much for watching. Please help support me by clicking like on the video, leaving a comment, and if you want to watch some of my fishing videos, hit the subscribe button as well. Thank you very much.